The New York Islanders were never supposed to exist. They were created in 1972 for one reason: to kill a rival hockey league before it could take root in New York. The team wasn't born from passion for the sport or demand from fans. It was a preemptive strike. And the man who made it happen didn't even want to own a hockey team. By early 1972, the NHL had a problem. A group of California businessmen announced they were launching the World Hockey Association, a rival professional league that planned to place franchises in major cities the NHL had ignored or underserved. And they had their eyes on Long Island. The WHA had already secured an arena, the brand new Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, which had opened just 1 year earlier and was desperate for a major tenant. The proposed team was called the Long Island Ducks, and the WHA founder, Dennis Murphy, believed Long Island's 2 million residents would support a team the Manhattan-based Rangers had long neglected. The NHL panicked. If the WHA established itself in the New York market, it could legitimize the entire rival league, poach NHL players, and split television revenue. The solution was obvious. The NHL had to beat them to Long Island. The problem was finding someone willing to pay for it. Enter Roy Bowe, a cable television executive and part owner of the New York Nets, the ABA basketball team. Bowe had no particular interest in hockey, but he understood leverage. The NHL offered him an expansion franchise for $6 million if he could secure the Nassau Coliseum lease and block the WHA. Bowe said yes, not because he wanted a hockey team, but because the Coliseum was already hosting his Nets, and owning the hockey tenant gave him more control over the building and its scheduling. By February 1972, the deal was done. The NHL granted New York its second team, and the Long Island Ducks vanished before they played a single game. The new team needed a name. Bowe's wife, Jine, suggested Islanders, a simple geographic nod to Long Island that avoided stepping on the Rangers' territorial branding. It stuck. The Islanders debuted in October 1972 as one of 2 expansion teams that year, alongside the Atlanta Flames. Their first season was catastrophic. The expansion draft gave them the league's cast-offs, aging veterans, and players other teams didn't want to protect. They finished with a record of 12 wins, 60 losses, and 6 ties. It remains one of the worst records in NHL history. But the franchise had accomplished its real goal. The WHA never gained a foothold in New York. The league folded 7 years later, and the Islanders outlasted the very threat they were created to destroy. What happened next surprised everyone, including Bowe. In 1973, the Islanders used the first overall pick in the NHL draft to select Dennis Potvin, a defenseman who would anchor the team for 15 years. By 1975, the Islanders had hired Al Arbour as head coach, a disciplinarian who transformed the roster into a defensive powerhouse. They added Mike Bossy in 1977, a goal scorer who would become one of the most efficient snipers in league history, and Brian Trottier, a two-way center who could score and defend with equal ferocity. In 1980, just 8 years after that disastrous first season, the Islanders won their first Stanley Cup. They won it again in 1981, and 1982, and 1983. 4 consecutive championships, a dynasty no one saw coming from a team that was invented to kill a league, not dominate one. Roy Bowe, who never wanted a hockey team, sold his stake in 1978, 2 years before the dynasty began. The franchise he created as a defensive move became one of the greatest teams in NHL history. The New York Islanders were never supposed to exist. But once they did, no one could stop them.